practically speaking, humble bragging has really nothing to do with being humble. Let me show you an image that illustrates this. Here's a graphic. When you humble brag, you are either typically complaining about something or you are boasting about something or some combination of both. Notice real humility is kind of off to the side. People will publicly complain about something being so difficult, like my garage is too small for my expensive car. Or they will boast about their accomplishments and call it humility, like receiving a prestigious honor. Why do we do this? Well, I think David Brooks gets it right. He says this is a cultural phenomenon. We live in a culture of self-obsession. 21st century American people like to complain and we like to boast. Think about the current engines of culture, things like social media. While it can be used as a force for good, often people use, and we can use for a force for good, and it can spread the gospel message and connect people and all that, but a lot of times it's used for selfish gain. So when we post on social media, we crave the likes, the loves, the comments. We got to get the algorithm right so more people will find us. So we snap a photo to make sure people know I'm eating a healthy lunch, and then we post it on social media. I'm so tired of seeing lunches out there, and I don't care what you eat, right? I'm buying stylish shoes so you know I'm keeping up and I'm looking good. And even I'm posting about how I'm keeping up with my Bible reading plans so you can know how holy I am. Social media fuels, it's a platform for the humble brag. And this is because we live in a culture not just obsessed with self, but obsessed with fame. Because with one device and one online account, we can become famous. But here's the lie of the humble brag. We start to think that we're more important than we actually are. We are a people who like to complain, and we're a people who likes to boast. We can become so obsessed with ourselves that we even need to tell people how humble we are. Now, here's what I want you to notice. When we build our lives, our identities, on the foundation of self, there's often no room for Jesus, because it's all about us. When we're obsessed with self, there's nothing to unify us with other people, and that's the problem. The humble brag, the complaining, the boasting, they are the enemy of unity within the church. So if you look around at the culture, can we all agree that unity is dying in our world, or it's dead already? The culture of self-obsession has taken a toll, and that disunity now has spilled over into the church. Now, here's the thing. We desire unity. We long for unity. And the question we're asking is, how do we get it? How do we get it back? In the midst of a culture like ours, and in the midst of a culture like the first century, which was very similar, Paul writes these words to the Philippians. He says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others." He says humility. True humility is what we need. And as we're going to see today, from the time of the Philippian church, there's not just conflict outside the walls of the church, but within. Why? Because conflict arises when we don't get what we want. Right? I don't like the music. There's not enough programs for me. The pastor preaches too long or too short. And let's be honest, it's always the former. I'll do my best today. Philippians 2, Paul tells us, disunity often flows from a heart obsessed with the self. That's the lie of the humble brag. And so today...